Okay, just picked up a new project car, 2011 Mercedes GLK 350. Got it for chump change because the front drive shaft has grenaded, actually snapped off at the yoke at the front differential, which has caused all kinds of grief underneath and makes it essentially undrivable. If I did drive it, it would be flopping around loose, beating up everything in sight, including the catalytic converters, the transmission, etc. So gonna try to make it temporarily drivable and show you how to do that quickly, easily, and without cost. The problem with moving it around is that the yoke is there. The drive shaft is now totally disconnected. Pushing the car around is not too bad because it just rotates the yoke, which bumps into the drive shaft that's laying here. But if you actually try to drive it, this thing's going to start moving. It could get jammed, get some leverage, and take off, do a flyer, and start taking off things in the area, like the O2 sensor. You can see it's already gotten. Car's throwing a code for misfire, not surprising. So my plan is to get my Sawzall in here and just cut off the drive shaft at a convenient point. Now, one of the other things you'll notice is that you can see that movement in the rear, and that's actually the transfer case, which is part of the transmission but is removable. The CV joint that's in there is obviously in bad shape because I can get vertical and horizontal movement there. So that's for another day, but today I just want to make this thing movable. So if I cut the drive shaft off, it will just rotate harmlessly in here and prevent any more damage. It will rub, but it shouldn't do any damage to anything important, and will allow me to move it around into the garage, out if I gotta move cars around. So that'll be a big improvement over now, which is pushing it everywhere it needs to go. Okay, to get access, the saw is a little too big to fit through the spacing. I'm going to take this kind of large, awkward cover off, which should give me access right through here. The covers are out just to give more room. I'll be taking them off anyway for the rest of the repair. So okay, that's much better access. So should be able to get the saw in here. Look for a good likely spot. I'm thinking further back, so there's just less of the shaft floating around loose, and probably cut it in here, just wherever I can reach. So let me see how that works. Okay, I raised the car just a little bit to get a little more angle. My saw is just a little bit too long. Put it where it was. Clear the area back here. Make sure there's nothing I'm going to be getting into. Be sure and wear safety glasses for this portion. It looks like I should be able to cut it right about there. So here goes nothing. And managed not to cut off anything important, like the transmission cooler line or whatever that is up there, but there's the offending front half of the axle. The rear half is in there. Now I could just pull it out of the I could pull it entirely out. Don't think I'm going to do that because I think it's likely to leak if I do. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a piece of cardboard in the area just to kind of hold it up a little bit off the transmission case and away from the heat shields and everything else, just so that it can rotate freely and safely out of the way and not do any more damage. Gives me a lot more room to work with. That's a great thing. I can now get to the bent up O2 sensor without any major grief. Okay, now as utterly ridiculous as this looks, this is some shredded cardboard packing material I got, of all things, a Jeep front drive shaft, surrounding it in a box, and I've just stuffed it around this so that it's cradling it all the way around just to keep it off the edges. It's not bumping really into anything, certainly nothing important, and not like it was. So this will be enough to keep the drive shaft from doing any damage. It doesn't have any weight, it's balanced, so that it should just sit there and spin. The differential is free to turn now, so this just became a rear-wheel drive car that can now be moved. So, yay. Now on to the next phase.